What's going on, YouTube? So to say that the midsize truck segment has undergone a lot of changes over the past few years would be a huge understatement. And because of that, Nissan didn't want to rest on their laurels, which is why they're bringing out a refresh for this 2025 Frontier. So with updated tech, a standard V6, and a price that undercuts much of the competition, is this the best midsize truck for you? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's go ahead and start things off under the hood with that standard V6. That's right, all versions of the Frontier, even the base model, come with a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 engine that makes really good power at 310 horsepower. Now it's paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and our combined fuel economy on this example is coming in at 18.
Now, of course, we can't wait to take this out on a spin to show you what that V6 is like. While we're on that drive, we'll be getting things like our signature sound level reading, as well as discussing resale and reliability after that.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood because Nissan has made some changes to the exterior design as well as the interior. Now, we've always thought this next generation of the Frontier was very handsome since it came out. That being said, they did make some subtle enhancements to the overall design. That's mostly focused up here with our front end. So we have a new look. This is going to kind of connect it to some of the other newer Nissan models, specifically in the Rock Creek lineup. And we have the PRO-4X trim level today. So you are going to get different looks in the front depending on which version you choose. For example, the SL is going to have the most luxurious appearance. The PRO-4X, though, has the most off-road focused appearance. So it's got the full blacked out grille all through here. You're going to get the special red accented Nissan logo as well. And then as we drop down to our lower part, we're going to notice we have more ground clearance than the other trims. We have 9.5 inches of ground clearance on this model. We also have a real metal skid plate, and you have the red accented recovery hooks. Now, as far as our lighting is concerned, you will have halogen headlights on your lower trims, LED reflector headlights here on your upper end trim levels. We have the LED daytime running lights and turn signal indicators as well, and then you also have available LED fog lamps. And as we move around to the rear, you'll notice some more updates back here as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a very handsome package overall. Now, as far as some of those design elements, let's break those down. We have Frontier stamped into the tailgate. Also, this whole piece is really nice and included for this PRO-4X model. I think it adds a lot of contrast to the overall tailgate itself. And then let's take a look at our taillights. Surprisingly, these taillights are very premium. They're going to be full LED on every single model. So you have the LED brake light, LED turn signal, and the LED reverse light down there. So I really love that. As we drop down to this lower fascia, all of this is going to be a mixture of body color and some matte black. Your tow rating is 6,300 pounds as tested today. It can go up to about 7,000 pounds depending on your configuration. But it's a truck after all, so let's go ahead and dive into the bed area. Now, you do have a 5 or 6 foot bed option, and as far as features on this, there's not going to be a ton, but we do have sliding rails along the side, and we just have the standard 5 foot bed as tested today. We also have the optional spray-in bed liner, and one of the things we do in all of our truck reviews is we get our diagonal width for the bed itself in case you're looking to haul something specifically. There's a little bit of junk in the way here, but we're looking at about 78 inches diagonally, and as far as the overall length, it's of course going to be 5 foot. Now, there is also some lighting that you can get as well, and I do like that the tailgate itself is nicely dampened.
Next up, let's talk about our wheels. You do have some 16 and 17-inch alloy options to choose from. We have the 17-inch alloy wheel here on the PRO-4X. Again, it does have some special Pro branding as well as the red accented Nissan logo. This does also come with all-terrain tires, and it has Bilstein shocks just to give this more off-road capability to match the overall design. As far as our mirrors are concerned, blind spot monitoring is included on all trim levels, and heating is offered.
Now here at the side, as you can see, we do have the 4-door setup with the 5-foot bed. Overall length is about 210 inches long as tested today. Now when it comes to your safety systems, I'm happy to tell you that you are going to get actually all of those as standard equipment on every single Frontier. But guys, there are some really significant tech upgrades in the cabin, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, let's move into the interior and see what's new inside. First, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. Typical Nissan key fob. It's not the newest design, it's the slightly older look, but you do have a standard intelligent entry system. We also have remote start built into the fob for this model. And you have kind of a traditional key as well if you want to use that to get yourself in and out of the vehicle. But of course you can, with this intelligent entry system, just press that black button and that will unlock the door. Now, taking a look at the interior, we're going to notice a few updates, especially when it comes to technology, but I don't want to talk about that right now. We need to talk about the seats first of all. So, standard is going to be a cloth seat on every trim except for the SL trim level. However, on today's Pro-4X, we have the available leatherette. So as you can see, nice covering on board here. Really good looking seat, I have to say. I love the stitching designs. They're very interesting. I like that we have the branding right there in the middle of the seat back. And overall, these are super comfortable as well. As far as adjustments, you have 8 ways of power adjustment, and you also have 2-way lumbar support. But let's go ahead and get inside. Now getting inside and closing up the door, let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Beginning over here on our door trim, we have a leatherette with the stitching detail, more leatherette through here. It was hard touch, across the top of the door trim. And as we move to the upper dashboard, this is going to be hard touch up here on the very top. This will be covered in a leatherette though with stitching detail. And then we even have more leatherette covering down here on our accented handle grabs. Let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. All right, so let's get into some individual features. We'll begin with our gauge cluster. Kind of your typical Nissan affair going on. You have a 7-inch multi-function display, reconfigurable things inside of here, including some off-road gauges. And then, of course, your speedo and tach are going to be analog. As we pull back to the steering wheel, we have the available leather-wrapped steering wheel. It again has the accented Nissan logo because we have the Pro-4X. And then this will be manual tilt and telescoping. That is something that's actually new for 2025, is the fact that it now has both of them versus what it did last year. Heating is also available, and let's go ahead and get into our center storage. So of course inside you're gonna see donuts. That's because Car Confections, this is our logo, and we like to see how many donuts fit inside so we can check the volume. Today we have inside of here 15 donuts, so that does pass up the dozen donut test. It is a really pretty good number for a mid-sized truck especially. And then in front of that, you have a wireless phone charging pad. This is a very large pad, so it will accommodate even big phones. We have 2 cup holders, and then another pad up here with a rubber lining for some more loose objects. As far as the shifter, no electronic shifter or anything like that, just a good traditional style one. You can bump over here to the left if you want to control the shifts manually. Obviously, there's not going to be paddle shifters or anything like that on the steering wheel. Kicking into reverse, you're going to find either a standard backup camera or, in our case, the available 360-degree around view monitoring system. This is part of the convenience package on the Pro-4X. And as you can see, you get both of those views. One thing to note is that it does not actually take up the entire screen for some reason, even though you got this extra section here. Also, the resolution is pretty low overall. And then you don't have an electronic parking brake, you have the traditional foot brake. Now as we continue on to this area, you're going to notice some more controls. So first of all, we have a nice dial here, just very easily switch your 4-wheel drive controls. You've got some more buttons down through here, including for our available heated seats. This is also where we turn on and off our available heated steering wheel and have a couple USB connections. Now above that, your upper end models will come with the dual zone automatic setup for the climate controls, so you can very easily adjust that, again with physical controls for everything. By the way, ventilated seats are not available. Another physical control we have is for our audio system. So we have the available 10 speaker Fender audio system. That's the up level audio offered here on the Frontier, and let's go ahead and give that a sample. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is pretty good. This is definitely going to be more of a bass heavy sound system, but it really fills up the cabin quite nicely. Alright, so let's move into this area and talk about our new display for 2025. So this kind of area here has been redesigned. If you choose one of the upper end trim levels, that will now give you a 12.3 inch display in place of what was previously a 8-inch display. So as you can see, that's going to give you a lot more real estate on board. The actual software itself is also enhanced because one of the things that we have is wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Previously, we just had wireless Apple CarPlay. You also have a built-in navigation system. That's what that's going to look like. Just be aware this is not the latest and greatest Nissan system, so we don't have Google Apps built in. Moving above, you'll notice we've got some more storage right there. We also have an auto dimming mirror with HomeLink universal remotes. This is optional on the Pro-4X. Also optional on the Pro-4X is this standard size sunroof. Of course, there's no option for a panoramic one.
And let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat area. Now, of course, we do have the 4-door setup, so that means that you're going to have a pretty good amount of space back here. About 33 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom. That's very close figures to what you'd find in a Toyota Tacoma, for instance. However, do keep in mind these midsize trucks are a little bit small to haul around maybe 3 adults here in the back. Now, as far as the knee room figure, that's something we get in all of our Car Confections reviews. Behind Drew's 5'8" driving position, we're only looking at about 4.5 inches of knee room. My feet can barely slide up underneath the seat, but the one thing I do want to point out is that the thigh support is a bit lacking back here. It seems like they should have raised the seat just a little bit more to add extra comfort, but the seats themselves are very, very comfortable. Now, we do have a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders inside. We also have this manually opening glass that can slide side to side. In the center, we are not going to have any vents. However, if you choose an SV trim level or above, you're going to get the 2 USB ports. And we also have the household style outlet. So that's certainly a nice feature to find in this Frontier. Now, over on the door trim, it is going to be hard touch on the upper part. Leather red all through the center section, though. And then we do have a really large bottle storage down in the very bottom. Actually, as a matter of fact, it fits the entire Stanley water bottle. And I wouldn't just say fits, it swallows it up. Now, as far as the under seat storage, you can access that with that little handle there. And you'll see that there's a bit of space, not a ton. And do keep in mind, it's not going to be under this seat, so it's just under these 2 seats. So a little bit less than some of the rivals, but it's a good amount of space to stick maybe some things that you want hidden from view. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2025 Nissan Frontier. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and start by giving you a hard acceleration.
Very nice. That was over 60 miles per hour. So of course, as you could probably tell just by the sound of it, this does have a V6 engine. This is a 3.8 liter V6 engine, and it's standard no matter which version you choose of the Frontier.
Yep.
That is increasingly becoming uncommon in this segment. Actually, I believe it's the only standard V6 that's left in this entire midsize truck segment, because you're not going to get that with the Tacoma, the Ranger, all the main trucks that this competes against. And it's nice and smooth. It certainly has plenty of power as well.
Yeah, now as far as the power figure, 310 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque. Plenty of power to get this truck up to speed. As you can see with that acceleration there, I don't think you're going to be wanting for any additional power at all. And like Drew said, I think it's just such a big deal to have that V6 engine as standard equipment. It has a lot of refinement to it, and really I think the only other, I was reflecting upon the trucks that have the V6, you could find a V6 in the Honda Ridgeline, but that's not exactly super comparable to this truck itself, so it is a very rare thing.
You know, also, I just really dig the raspy growl this engine makes. It just kind of sounds powerful. I like that. Let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain. That's the fact that we have a 9-speed automatic transmission on board. This is a really good partner to this engine. The shifting is nice and smooth. When I put my foot down, not much time at all passes, but to get that next gear change, this is a really nice transmission. Like I said, good partner to this.
Yeah, and power is routed to the ground via either two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. As you would expect, the PRO-4X does come standard with four-wheel drive. Now, I want to take a second here to discuss ride quality for this truck. Now, one of the things that I really like about the Frontier is how good it rides. We actually lived with a PRO-4X version of this Frontier for an entire week, and over that week, we were able to really get a feel for how this vehicle rides, and I have nothing but really good things to say about it. It does a great job of soaking up the bumps. I find these seats to be really quite comfortable up here in the front. And, you know, of course, this is the more off-road focused version of this vehicle. So if you get the SL, I imagine you might even have a little bit more of a compliant overall ride for that more luxury focused trim level. All right, and we are speeding up to 55 miles per hour, so you know what time it is. It is time for us to get our sound level reading. I went ahead and adjusted the climate to put it on fan speed 1, and once we get a steady speed here, I will go ahead and start our sound level reading. .8 decibels is what we are sitting at for this Frontier PRO-4X. I don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to other mid-sized trucks because we can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings. On our website, we posted all of the trucks this vehicle competes with. Now, as far as how that compares to other mid-sized trucks, that actually places it as one of the very quietest ones that we have tested out in this segment. Now, do keep in mind that we have not tested out the all-new Tacoma or the Canyon, actually, in our home state of Kentucky's road. So we are hoping to get those figures for you guys here shortly, but a lot of its main competition we have tested in other states, so it's not exactly comparable. Now I want to take a second to discuss fuel economy. So this vehicle is going to be rated at 21 combined if you choose the two-wheel drive version. If you choose four-wheel drive, it goes down to 20. As tested today with the PRO-4X, we're sitting at 18 miles per gallon combined. Of course, keep in mind it depends on what drivetrain configuration, what trim level. Trucks get very complicated in that sense, what your fuel economy will be. But honestly, not too bad for a V6, that's for sure. And I think that leads us into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, which is our favorite and least favorite element about this new Frontier.
So I'll start off the Slam Dunk. That's going to be our 2025 updates. They definitely made some meaningful changes this year that really helped the overall ownership experience, but they kept, I think, some fundamental things the same that a lot of people are going to appreciate in this segment. Once again, kind of going back to the V6, for instance, that's a good example of how it's more of a classic experience that a lot of people seem to be craving compared to those new turbo four-cylinder offerings.
Yeah, on the airball side of things, despite those updates, this still does feel like a little bit of an older product than some of the newer offerings like the Tacoma, the Canyon, the Colorado. Those vehicles, when you do stuff like put the vehicle in reverse, the 360 camera is going to have a little bit of a grainy resolution to it. Some of this stuff is starting to show its age just a little bit compared to those competition vehicles, so keep that in mind. Although I don't really think a lot of you guys will mind that too much. I think a lot of people like that classic truck feel. Lastly, as far as your warranty is concerned, you have Nissan's signature warranty, 3-year 36 basic, 5-year 60 powertrain. Something new for 2025 across all Nissan products is that you now get 2 years of complimentary maintenance, which certainly is nice. Now, one of the best parts about the Frontier is that it is thousands less expensive than most of the competition. We start at $33,400 for the S model. As you move up the trim structure, of course, it gets more expensive. The SL is the most expensive at $41,800, and this Pro-4X has quite a few options on it. So we start at around $41,700 if you choose four-wheel drive. This is the 25 model. Once you add in all those packages, as well as quite a few accessories, 1510 destination, we're sitting at $50,800 as tested today, which does represent quite a bit lower of a price point than a fully loaded Tacoma. Now, if you'd like to buy a Nissan Frontier or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's go ahead and dive into resale and reliability. So let's start with resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Nissan Frontier's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 50.5% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 16.4%. Now, because it is a truck, I do maybe expect that to be a little bit higher in terms of resale value by percentage. However, compared to things like the Toyota Tacoma, it probably won't be quite as good.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. When you look at this data, Nissan is rated almost exactly at the industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale data, as well as our reliability information and our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the refreshed 2025 Nissan Frontier. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this, and you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel. I promise you won't want to miss out. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies, and if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support.